everyone. How are you? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I believe that you're well and that the Lord has been keeping you. It has been an amazing journey. We have been going through 40 days of prayer and fasting here at Tushindi Imani, and it happens to be our second last day. So, you guys are finishing strong tomorrow, and I'm really excited about what God has been doing in and amongst us, and just how people have been sharing testimonies of what this fast has been like for them. And it has been interesting listening to the beautiful testimonies that many have, which leads me to what we will be talking about today. And it's not to be a bummer or to blow your bubble, but it is the reality of life. I just want us to take a minute and just talk about how every time as believers we find ourselves at a spiritual high, it is almost always predictable that there will be a low. I don't know if I'm making sense. I don't know if you have gotten me. So let me put it this way. I, in my personal walk, have had times and seasons where my devotions were powerful. Like wake up in the morning and whatever you read in the morning is what your colleague at work mentioned. It is what was written in the bus or in the train where you were traveling to get to wherever you were going, and then somebody just posts something and you come across it and it is confirming the same thing, and you go to sleep and wow, it is almost like you are in the clouds. God is speaking to you and you feel like it can't get better than this. And then almost always after that, you get to a point where suddenly it's just sure, very slow, very subtle, but then you find yourself at a place where someone asks you, so how are you? How are you doing? Are you reading the word? Are you praying? What is God saying? You could still be reading the word and praying, but suddenly you feel like, is God even saying anything? Has he even been speaking? Or if he's speaking, who is he speaking to? And this happens two ways. There are some times where it is short term. For example, you leave a Sunday service and you are feeling, today the word was mine. In fact, God sent his angels concerning me. That service was not for anybody else but myself. And you get out of that service pumped, ready, saying, now it is God and I have received instruction. I will walk in that instruction. Go do miraculous signs and wonders. And then by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, suddenly you can barely even remember that you had a promise or you had a word to act upon. That is short term. Then there is long term where you have had like 3 months, 6 months, where your walk with God has been very consistent. You have been able to even see the productivity of the result of your your walk with God in other spheres of your life. You meet people. That is, the season where you're actually speaking to people and your only concern is making disciples for Jesus Christ. And I have been there. I remember one time I was working, and in that season, I was experiencing a high, and I just thought to myself that it's been a while since I just spoke to somebody about Jesus Christ. And because it has become very tricky in this day and age to just walk up to someone, tell them, hi, how are you? I just want to tell you about Jesus. I now looked for a way that I would be able to reach out to people. So every time I was seated in the matatu, that's public transport, I would take my physical Bible out and begin to read it. Now, most often than not, that was a conversation starter. So the person who would be seated next to me would go, young girl, is that a Bible you are reading? And I would get an opportunity and I would tell them about Jesus, and I would tell them that, yes, I am young, but I have chosen to live for Christ. How can I pray with you? Be encouraged in the Lord as you go wherever you're going today. May you experience victory. And let me tell you, it was an amazing season of my life. And then, I don't know how, but slowly, I found it was just not happening again. And even when I would want to encourage myself and get myself, go back to the same scriptures and see if I can get the same, I don't know if I should call it motivation or the same unction, and it's just not happening. And for a very long time, it was a very real struggle for me. And I'm speaking about this knowing that we have had an amazing time of 40 days of prayer and fasting. And like I said, I have heard a lot of us talk about testimonies where you have had God in this period of fasting and He has given you direction and He has told you what to do. For some of you, He has given you instruction about what you need to do about your business. For some of you, He has given you instruction about what to do concerning your family. And you're getting to a point and you're like, yes, this has to be done. And if it has to be done, it has to be done now. But chances are 2-3 weeks from now, you'll probably not be feeling the same energy, the same motivation, the same, I don't know what word to give it, but you'll not be feeling the same way, the same urgency as you're feeling it now. Now, this is to encourage you that that is a season that we go through as children of God. It happens the same way. Let me put it in a way that would probably seem very natural for us. The same way when you're beginning a year, everybody is making resolutions and you're pumped, psyched, ready to show that year the best that you've got. And then you find yourself 2-3 months later, okay, I'm still at it, but not at it. But by the time you get to the 8th month of the year, you even forgot the resolutions you had made at the beginning of the year. Now, one of the things I will need you to do as you're winding up this fast is take a notebook and write down those things that the Holy Spirit has instructed you to do. And not only write them down, but as you write them down, pray for wisdom that God will show you how best to imply them and to apply them. And as you write them down, begin to set dates and begin to work things out so that you can have a certain level of consistency. Then do not forget that you will need to keep praying over these things and keep praying over yourself, that urgency will not get lost, that God will give you the courage, even when you're not feeling like it, that you will still keep at it. You see, I look at Jesus and I'm reminded of Jesus just when He has been baptized. Imagine being baptized. Imagine yourself being baptized. And then suddenly the heavens are open. A dove comes from heaven. The voice of God the Father Himself says, this is my child of whom I am well pleased. Isn't that a very serious spiritual high? But it is interesting that immediately after that, the Holy Spirit of God leads Jesus to the desert. And there He is set there to fast for 40 days, 40 nights. I really don't think at the point where Jesus was in that desert, He was thinking, wow, pumped, do this for Jesus. I know He had the will. This is Jesus you're talking about. He went through the 40 days. But there He meets the devil who tells Him, hi, I know you're hungry, man. Why not turn this stone into bread and eat? By the time the devil was tempting Jesus, He knew there was a weak point here because Jesus was human. He was 100% human, 100% God. And that human part of Him, of course, experienced the hunger and the thirst of being in the desert for 40 days. And many are the times that we find ourselves going through that. But I also want to remind you that the same way that God is very real and evident when everything about you is in agreement and is proving that God is on your side, is the same way God is on your side even when you are in the desert. Even when you are feeling like, no, the joy I had, the motivation I had is gone. Or the instruction I had, at the time I had the urgency to perform it, but now it is slowly becoming less important on my to-do list. But you keep trusting God and you keep pushing yourself, because you see, as long as God has given you an instruction, as far as heaven is concerned, it is now up to you to walk in obedience. So what the enemy does is he will do anything to make sure he has kept you from obeying that word and therefore enjoying the promises that would come with the obedience to that word. I pray for every one of us today that when the word that God has given you, it will not just fade away. It will not just leave you at some point and you remain without results or anything to show for it. But may you continue to travail in prayer. Yes, we are almost done with the prayer and the fasting, but continue praying. You are praying for 2 hours. Don't stop because you have stopped praying and fasting. You have been fasting and you have managed to do the 40 days, 21 days, whatever number of days you have been able to do in this period. Continue at it. Continue giving yourself the motivation to say, all right, then weekly, let me try again one more day every week to make sure that I have set it aside to pray and to fast. keep at it. Because the truth is, the enemy is ready to do anything to deter you from the path on which God has put you at. In this season, when you had set yourself aside, that you may just be ministered to and that you may minister unto the Lord. I pray for you, and I pray for everyone that has actually had this season where you have had a spiritual high, that joy, that satisfaction of being found in the presence of the Lord will continue to be with you. The urgency to do what God has called you to do will keep you going every day of your life. The motivation, the excitement of being in the presence of the Lord will be with you. And here's the thing. If you get to a point and you realize it is not there, it is okay to go back to God and tell him, Lord, I desire that excitement. I desire that motivation. Show me, Lord, what needs to be done. Because the truth is, at the end of the 40 days of prayer and fasting, Jesus' ministry was established. May your ministry be established. May that which God has set aside for you to do in this season be established. May he give you the motivation to wake up every morning and have the drive to serve him in every area that he has revealed to you that you need to serve him. And as you do that, may you experience the joy of the Lord. May you testify of his goodness, and may you keep growing from glory to glory. Be blessed. See you next time. May the favor of the Lord be upon you.